This has to be the craziest gaming phone that we've ever taken a look at on the channel. What I've got here is the all-new Red Magic 11 Pro, and it actually has a built-in liquid cooling system. What you're looking at right now is the back of the phone, and this is not an OLED display, it's not an LCD display. This is actually the liquid flowing through the unit, keeping it nice and chilly, and they added this for good reason. Because the Red Magic 11 Pro is powered by the all-new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, meaning we've got a lot of performance here. In fact, the CPU can clock up to 4.6 GHz, which is pretty crazy for a mobile CPU. And being that this is their next-gen gaming smartphone, they also added a brand new display, and this thing is absolutely beautiful. 144 Hz, it's a BOE X10 AMOLED display, 6.85 inches, and up to 1800 nits of brightness. One thing I really like about this new design is the fact that there's no camera bump around back with their new camera system. And as you can see, we do have some RGB here. It's actually fully controllable from software. They also added fully adjustable RGB around the device, and taking a look at the other side, we've got our shoulder triggers, an exhaust vent for the built-in cooling fan, volume rocker, power button, and our Red Magic switch. This is going to put us into Red Magic time. I think that's what they're still calling it. Either way, basically puts us into gaming mode with this unit. I've had my hands on this for about a week, and overall, I do love the design, especially the display they opted to use here. And of course, it's pretty awesome to see that liquid cooling in action around back when you put this into performance mode. But when it comes to the overall specs of the new Red Magic 11 Pro, like I mentioned, this is powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and this might sound a little odd to some people given that this is the Elite Gen 5 when the last chip they released was the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 1. They tried to catch up with their naming convention with this, so this is the Elite Gen 5. It's an 8-core ARM SoC, 2 big prime cores that'll clock up to 4.6 GHz, and 6 efficiency cores that'll clock up to 3.6. We've also got the new Adreno 840 GPU, up to 1200 MHz here. You can get this in a few different RAM and storage variants, so 12 gigabytes of RAM, 16 or 24, and all of them are using LPDDR5T. 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, or 1 terabyte of internal storage, and it's UFS 4.1 Pro, so it's super fast internal storage here. 144 Hz BOE X10 AMOLED display with a resolution of 2688 by 1216, up to 1800 nits of brightness, and you can do 60 Hz, 90, 120, or 144 from software. It's up to you. It's got Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and NFC, dual stereo speakers, and they managed to shove a 7500 mAh battery in this with 80-watt quick charging capabilities. This is also running Red Magic OS 11, which is based on Android 16. The very first thing I wanted to get out of the way were some benchmarks on this new device, and I'm going to be facing it off against the Red Magic 10 Pro with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 1. That's the last gen Red Magic gaming device. Over on the left-hand side, we've got the Red Magic 11 Pro with the 8 Elite Gen 5. Single core with Geekbench 6, 3800, multi 11363. Phenomenal scores here, especially for an Android device. This is looking pretty great so far. Next up, we've got a GPU benchmark with Wildlife Extreme, and on that new 8 Elite Gen 5, we got a total score of 7,852, and an average FPS of 47, and on the 8 Elite Gen 1, we got a 7,026 with an average FPS of 42. And the final one here is Antutu, and you can see on the left-hand side with that Red Magic 11 Pro, we scored a 3,967,467. This is crazy, and I actually was really impressed by this. Would be nice to break 4,000, but then again, we've been trying to break 3,000 with the 8 Elite Gen 1. This is a nice step up, because if you take a look at the Red Magic 10 Pro, we're right there at 2,770,336. And just going down the list, one of the biggest upgrades here is going to be that CPU performance. Comparing both of these GPUs, we are seeing a boost, but it's not a significant jump, at least with these synthetic benchmarks. It really comes down to the upgraded CPU performance we have here. So obviously, I mean, with those kind of scores in synthetics, this is a very powerful device with that Snapdragon 8 Elite. And Red Magic has also added some great software here to let you leverage that extra performance we're getting while you're gaming with this device. Flipping that switch over on the side is going to bring us into our gaming mode. And I want to jump in a bit closer, show you a few things that they have built in here. One of my favorite things about the Red Magic devices is something they call console mode. And in the past, we usually just had to plug into an external monitor or a TV to get there. With this new version, we can actually enable it here on the built-in screen. Now, it's definitely not going to take up full screen here, but overall, not too bad. If we go to console mode itself, basically, we get the full screen on the external monitor. We can still use the built-in phone screen, but it's nice that we have it here also. You can just use it directly on the screen. But taking a look at the game launcher, from here we can add our own games. It's really up to you. You can go through, add different applications. And with each one of these, let's just say Genshin Impact here. We can go right over here, set up a mouse and keyboard, game controller, screencasting, and we can fully customize a performance profile for this game. So from performance here, as soon as we start it up, we can have it automatically go to Eco, Balanced, Rise. GPU settings can also be tweaked, Standard, Power Saving, High Quality, and we can go Custom. And with this, we can set up our sampling, filtering, texture filtering quality, map, auto VRS. You can go through and adjust each one of these to your liking. Really nice with this Adreno GPU, and we can do this with each game. From Superbase, there's a lot of great stuff here, but one of the main things is going to be the plugin library. With these plugins, they're pre-installed, but sometimes we get new ones with updates. And if we go down, you can see we've got a bunch of them. So if you want to set up a stopwatch, you can. On-screen crosshair, you can fully customize it. And just tapping on each one of these will give you a rundown on what it does. Plus, we've got Diablo mode. Like I mentioned, Diablo mode is just full out max CPU clock and GPU clock. Key mapping, scout mode, hunt mode, auxiliary line, tons of stuff that you can play around with per game. And along with this, once we start a game up, we can access these from a quick menu. So let's go ahead and move over there now. I don't think a lot of people are going to buy this specifically for Minecraft, but this is just an easier one to jump into to show you those extra features we have. So while we're gaming, if we swipe over from the right or the left-hand side at any time, it's going to bring up our overlay. From the right-hand side, we can enable some of those plugins, and one of my favorite is just the on-screen FPS counter. Shows your real-time performance here. We've also got a screen recorder built in, do not disturb. There's a magnifier. You can set the refresh rate of the built-in display. You can turn the fan on or off. Plus, we've got our performance profiles right here. So we've got our Eco, and you can see that it's going to take the clock on the CPU and GPU down. Balance mode, same thing. We're going to get a little more than Eco. We've also got a Rise mode, which takes us up pretty far, and for the most part, this is how I've been running everything. But there's one more setting known as Diablo mode, and this is just going to max it out. So it's going to take our CPU up to 4.61 gigahertz and our GPU up to 1200 megahertz. And I'll tell you, for Android gaming and emulation, you really don't need Diablo mode. It's definitely a bit overkill. But in some extreme cases, like PC game emulation, it could help out. I've gone through and I've tested a bunch of Android games, and I'll tell you, even the Snapdragon Elite Gen 1 will run any Android game maxed out on your screen. I mean, it's a really good performer. This just takes it a step further, and even with something like Fortnite, we can totally max this out and go up to 120 FPS with it and run it like this all day long. I'll show you from my settings, and I'm using an Xbox controller connected over Bluetooth right now. 120 FPS, 100% resolution scale, high settings, and I've got the FPS up in the top left-hand corner. This is super smooth, and if I go into console mode on a big display, we can still run it at 120 Hz here maxed out. And I'm not even in Diablo mode right now. I'm just using Rise mode, so there's still more that this thing can put out. It really doesn't matter what native Android game you want to run. You can basically take them all up as high as it'll go. The next thing I wanted to take a look at was some PC game emulation using GameHub. I've got more games downloading, and I will have a full video, but even right now with the Snapdragon 8 Elite 5, these games are working with the latest driver that they're using here with GameHub. So it's powered by Game Fusion, and obviously this is an easier game to run. We've got Silksong, but this is not cloud gaming, it's not streaming. This is PC game emulation. So we're actually emulating this game right now on the Red Magic 11 Pro. Really awesome. And again, stay tuned to the channel because I've got a bunch of games that I want to test on this device. Now I wanted to talk about some emulation, and unfortunately, it's just really hard for me to show this off due to everything that's going on with YouTube copyright right now. I tested GameCube and PS2, but I will do more in my next video. When it comes down to it, going up to 4x resolution with the Dolphin emulator will take you up to 2560 by 2112, more than enough for the built-in screen, and I would like to run this on an external monitor up to 4K. I think we could take most of these up higher using the OpenGL backend with the official Dolphin emulator with these. Next up, some PS2 using Nether SX2, OpenGL backend, and with all of these tests, I was in Rise mode. I didn't have to turn on Diablo mode with this. The only one that I had to drop down from 4x with PS2 was God of War 2, and that happened on the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 1 also. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but yeah, 3x still looks great, and it runs at 60 FPS. So for the most part, I mean, as long as the game's compatible with the emulator, GameCube, Wii, and PS2, you should get some really great performance at a much higher resolution. When it comes down to it, I think for an Android device, I mean, we're seeing more than enough performance than we need at the time of making this video. Like I mentioned, with native Android games, I mean, there's nothing that this isn't going to be able to run at full speed. What we need now with these new Elite chips is more software for Android. PC emulation is coming along really nicely on the Android, and that's kind of the next video I want to make. I've got a bunch of games downloading right now, and I'd love to see exactly what we could do on this device. Still, probably need some more optimizations for said emulators, given that we've got the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, but I think we can still get some good performance out of this thing. But that's going to wrap it up for this first look video at the Red Magic 11 Pro. More videos are on the way, so keep an eye on the channel. It'd be really cool if you could hit that like button and think about subscribing so you know when I post the next one. And if you're interested in learning a little more about the Red Magic 11 Pro, I'll leave some links in the description. Like always, thanks for watching.